So I just heard something on the news as I was working that I found very interesting and very telling. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let them say what they were saying. Okay, let's just check this out for a second.
This week that, quote, systemic racism is a yoke that drags on the American economy. This country has both a moral and economic imperative to end these unjust and destructive practices. I wonder if you would agree and how you would quantify the cost of the racism he's talking about.
I would agree. Going into the crisis, we had made a big point and have been working for years at the Dallas Fed, but across our Federal Reserve System to help improve skills training, to improve educational attainment, because we strongly believe a more inclusive economy will lead to better growth. For years, blacks and Hispanics have had an elevated level of unemployment versus whites. That started to improve dramatically in the last few years. We've now taken a step back as a result of this crisis, but a more inclusive economy where everyone has an opportunity will mean faster workforce growth, faster productivity growth, and we'll grow faster. And so I think we're right to focus on this and bore in on this. It's in the interest of the U.S. The fastest growing demographic groups in this country are blacks and Hispanics. If they don't participate equally, then we're going to grow more slowly.
And more work needs to be done on that front by Congress?
No question.
Then we are not going to grow as quickly. It is an imperative for the United States to produce inclusion, or the United States doesn't grow as quickly as it could. Understand, when we use the word inclusion, what it maintains is a ruling class for whom the threshold is minimized between that lower class. So what they're talking about is not diminishing their power, not ever relinquishing power over those people's lives. It is to produce inclusion, that the energies of those black and brown people might be used to make the United States stronger. So we're not talking about freedom. We're not talking about tangible, relevant to a human being. A human being. We're not talking about people that are in this place involuntarily being restored. We're talking about the bottom line for the corporation known as the United States of America. That is what we're talking about. So today, you have our voices that have been stolen. You have a white corporation called Black Lives Matter that is collecting billions of dollars and using those dollars to push forward what they have in mind. They're not using our voices. They've changed what this effort and this motion is designed to do, which is to change the condition for black people in America. And they have driven a wedge to misdirect, just like a fork-tongued colonizer would, to misdirect what this is about. It's what they did with Martin Luther King. They joined his march and changed his message. And they put different words in the mouth of the people. The people went there talking about freedom, and they walked away talking about equality, rights, and justice. Look at the words today. They're talking about racial equity. They're talking about racial equality. They're talking about racial justice. They're talking these words. But these words do not translate into freedom. They're lesser forms of freedom, which equals slavery still. And we're watching this. We're hearing this, we're seeing this, and we're not saying this. We're letting their voices. Do you know who burned down the Wendy's last night? It was a little white woman that had the white power symbol behind her back as she did it. Do you actually see what's happening today? They're not talking about freedom. They're not talking about relinquishing what it was that they stole. They're not talking about the fact that everything that they have is paid for by breeding our families for 275 years to produce an economy that could carry every poor, tired, huddled mass of immigrants from all over the planet Earth to come here with nothing but the shirts on their back and thrive based on the food that was produced through breeding black women. They don't say that. They're trying to improve their bottom line. They're trying to maintain their position of power over your lives. When do you wake up and determine that freedom is the only suitable solution? Find me, Peter Brown. Find me, CEO of the Ledge Group. The moment you determine freedom is the goal, you'll find me on that wall.